Hey, so today is going to be the first time I'm gonna record my onboarding experience while using a new feature for my GitDock repository. I'm very excited. So what I'm gonna try to enable today is a test summary. When you look at the code, you can already see that thanks to a certain community contributor, we have quite a few tests already running in our pipelines, and I can run them here to give a quick overview. So one example of what it tests is whether it shows the overview page, or it's testing whether you can add and delete a bookmark. You can see that happening here, and everything still works as expected. But what I want to do is show the same not only when I go to a certain pipeline, and let's have a look at one that was recently completed. This one ran just a couple of hours ago, and so you can see we have an extra job just for feature tests. And you can see we're running all the same tests in this pipeline as well. But because I heard a lot about GitLab test summary, I want to enable this. And this is the first time I'm going to do this myself, so I'm very excited to see how it works. So I'm going to get linked to unit test reports, which seems to be the first item coming up when I search for test summary. So I hope that's exactly what will happen here. And I can see how to set it up. I have the JavaScript example, which fits because Electron is JavaScript based. So it sounds like I need an npm package as first step. So let's install it. JS-JUnit. That should not be too tough. Just -JUnit. And I should have installed it as dev dependency. So let me do that. While this is happening, let's already see. Maybe I actually need to install another package because I'm not using Jest, I'm using Spectrum and Mocha. But let's see what happens. So it seems like the install worked. JS-JUnit is installed. So let's add this to our pipeline here. I hope we can just add it to the existing test stage. So I'm going to grab the exact command. Here's the test. So right after the test runs, let's use the same here. And don't know whether we are already having artifacts in this part of the pipeline, but seems like we don't, so I'm just going to copy this completely. I need to remove this. Let's make sure all of this works by copying it over to the pipeline editor. And it seems like the configuration is valid. So I have no clue whether this is all going to work. but let's do this. Let's create a new issue. Assign it to me. It's pretty self-explanatory what this does. Directly going to create a merge request. Should have done this first, but I'm just gonna stash my changes here. Calling it test. Now I can run git fetch. Get the new branch. And switch to the new branch. Then I'm going to apply the latest stash. And let's see whether this already works. I'm still unsure whether I should have used something else than jest, because it seems like it might require a different piece. Oh, I've had this before. Let's see, git push. Need to enter my credentials. So this worked. So while the pipeline for this is running, and I'm particularly interested obviously in the feature test job, I'll already see if I can figure out a way to get a report out of this. So let's search for Spectron report. I should maybe add Electron in here as well. Let's just for now mark this ready, even though it's not yet. Let's see, can we find something about report in here? Crash report, apparently not. Maybe we need to go to marker. Seems like that might work. See if we can find something on the official website. Okay, the feature tests are running. So can we find something about report here? Test coverage reporting, report test durations, reporters. That looks good. JUnit as well. Okay, let's see. Tests are running, so we should see whether this worked very quickly. But it looks like we have different ways to make this happen. This seems like a new GitHub project, which seems to be the exact thing I need. JUnit style XML test results for Mocha. So let's just wait for this here, no matching files, command not found, that makes sense. Already kind of expected that. So let's uninstall it. And instead, let's see whether this works. So I will copy this over as soon as this is done. I'm gonna run it. And then we're just gonna see what happens if I do this. JSON, okay. All right, I think I need to install Mocha globally. Still not found. Ah, I made a mistake. Okay. The $sign came with it every time. JUnit minus reporter. Could not load it. Looking for GitLab, GitDock. Well, there is none like this, but it should have installed with the node modules. Mocha JUnit reporter. So I'm not exactly sure why it's not looking in there. See whether it's a known issue. This should have worked. Let's just try once more. Same problem. That's interesting. Mocha invalid reporter. Could not load reporter. Let's try something else. Let's try adding it directly. pn1 test. And we got a test results, XML. So that looks pretty good actually. Now we only need to figure out what the name should be. junit.xml. Okay, so can we specify that somewhere here? We probably can, just need to figure out where. So junit.xml. So let's see whether this changes something. Switched to local JUnit reporter. Let's jump back to the merge request. Okay, we got the second pipeline. Now we only need to wait. No test files found. That is interesting. Did I misread something here? Should have added the reporter options. That makes a ton of sense. So while we're waiting for the pipeline, let's run it locally to quickly see whether it delivers the expected result. So, it looks like we have a JUnit XML. Let's also do something to validate this. While we're jumping back to the pipelines and see whether feature tests now delivers the expected result. So let's validate it. No errors were found. That's good. Hopefully this job will start soon as well. Okay, I have no clue why this job is stuck. Seems like the previous job already finished. Quite some time ago already. So I don't see why feature test is not starting, which is not great. Seems like all Linux runners are currently having trouble. Ah, now it starts. Wonderful. So let's see. Just to do a quick sanity check. Should be exactly the commands we've been giving. So let's hope it works. seems like it worked. Wait. Ah. Yep, I still have the old command in here. I should have gotten rid of that. Let's see if it worked nonetheless. Otherwise, I'll do that in the next push. So that one failed. So obviously I have to remove this one. Or the other one can still stay here because it should still run. I'm going to remove the local junit.xml. Seems like it also should have done that. So new pipeline got triggered. This time I'm going to observe the install dependencies to know when exactly the following job of feature tests should start. Let's see if I can read something more here. So it seems like I also should have the paths in here. Don't know why this is only in here, because if I want to make them browsable, why wouldn't I include that in all the instructions? So why is it in here, but not in here? Well, anyway. Let's make sure I get another push in. So let's just see whether, even without the reports variable, it still works. So it seems like this worked. It uploaded an artifact. Let's see, can I download it? Seems like I can't. Let's see whether this adds the test summary widget to my merge request. Seems like it doesn't. Don't know why. No artifacts available. Let's see in the other pipeline whether I can download any artifacts here. And it shows the test in here, which is already great. This is wonderful. So it directly gives me all the correct information. I just don't know why it doesn't do so in the merge request itself directly. This is good, this is a success, but I also want to have it available in the merge request itself. So let's see how we can make that happen. Okay. How do I get back to the artifacts? It seems like the JUnit is here. Let's open it. Seems to be correct. Everything should be good. But I still would love to have it visible here. And I know this is working because we do have it in the GitLab repository, so I don't know why it's not showing up here. Maybe it's this variable here. We will figure that out as soon as this one has completed. So far, most of my problems have been really with how to get the report. But now, if this doesn't work, and if I can't get the widget to show up, then I'm kind of stuck because it seems like everything should be working correctly here. So I might have a mistake in my expectation of when the merge request widget for test summary should show up. No files down. I obviously copied without changing it. This was very smart. So we have to wait a couple more minutes to see whether the other one would work. So this one will obviously not make any difference, because even though there was a path variable, it didn't do anything. So we can also just cancel all of these right now. And only have the latest one. So it seems like this worked. I can now also see the JUnit.xml. Seems like everything worked as expected. This is amazing. This is pretty cool. Now we'll need to figure out, is it showing up in the merge request? And sadly it's not. I don't know why. So I can see it in the pipeline. I can see all the tests in the pipeline. Do I need anything additional to make it show up in the MR? This is the same that everybody always uses. This is only the initial merge request. So yeah, I'm stuck now. I don't know why these tests show up on the pipeline view. This all looks really cool. This is all great. But when I go to any of the merge requests on our own project, I'm not sure if it's actually for any. Yeah, this is the documentation one, but let's see whether I can find a different one. Yeah, this is a draft. I don't know whether it's going to show up here. But yeah, here's the test summary. Why is this widget showing up? Or why is it not showing up for me? I know that there's a repository with CI examples. Yeah, this doesn't really help me. I know that because we are currently redesigning the MR widgets that we have this repository or this group of repositories with example projects. Let me try to remember where it was. I think it was actually Scott who built this. Maybe it was not. Here we have a CI sample project. That's what I should have checked for. So in the CI sample projects, let's see if I can find the test summary sample project. Test report. This is hopefully the one. Doesn't have any merge requests. None at all. That's not great. Yeah, this is exactly what I was hoping to have. Let's check the ci.yaml. Stage test. Artifacts. When always. Artifacts when always. Path. .png. And Interesting. I have the junit.xml, reports, junit, junit.xml. It should work. Only difference is that it's a list here, but that should not be the decisive factor. So we'll give it one last try, and then we'll see. Still not showing up here. Could also be due to the fact that none of the pipelines have completely succeeded so far. They're all still running, and they will for some time. So maybe I'll add a follow-up video afterwards to show whether after all the pipelines have succeeded, maybe then it will show up. But right now I don't understand why it doesn't. It seems like they might be stuck again for a while. So because I need to wait for the entire pipeline anyway, I'm going to stop the video here. We have gotten it to work in the pipeline view. I still would love to understand why it's not showing up on the merge request page. But if anything happens either in this change, where I changed from the list to a single entry, or if anything changed after the entire pipeline succeeded, I'll create a follow-up and looking forward to see what might have fixed the situation. Thanks for watching and see you in the next videos.